Well, what's up guys? New here. Thanks for checking out the video. We have a follow-up to the Speed Saga. You may recall a little over a week ago I came out with a video featuring this skill right here, Whirling Slash. I put it on blast as a potential replacement for movement speed stat completely. And lo and behold, I am not moving at all in this map. You see in the background, I am simply whirling, slashing, and also dashing and teleporting thanks to the new player in town, Cull the Weak, which is an on-demand frenzy charge on kill, teleport anywhere as long as you can target an enemy, which the pairing is just unbelievable. For a build that would like to have yet another way to acquire frenzy charges, you almost can't ask for something better than that. I mentioned it before, I say it again, the scalability of attack speed, skill speed, as well as attack speed through accuracy and the synergies the Amazon had there meant this was going to outproduce anything you can possibly do with movement speed, most notably anything on a Roa. And I stand by that statement, and I'm pretty sure that it will be even less contentious this time around, as I have indeed scaled the build up more. That's what a week of gearing can do for you when you grind out the game. And it's been quite easy to grind this game because that's a lot of fun. I mean, you see what I'm seeing here on the screen? If you think for a second that I'm not having an absolute blast blasting through 2 breaches at the same time on Sandspit, I don't know what to tell you. This is about as good as it gets. So for anyone who's complaining about the current state of PoE2, I guess we're not playing the same game. I love it. I love thriving in a game when people are not happy about the state of it. It just makes me giddy inside. So I'm bringing this video for you here. I'm finally ready to share an update on the speed portion of the build, and that's mainly on account of the new player, Cull the Weak. We're going to talk about Cull the Weak, why it's so good, and that we'll again revisit attribute stacking as the only real potential competitor to accuracy, and then the Deadeye will also be part of the conversation. And so yeah, it's all speed today, baby. We're just talking speed. Everybody's favorite topic. Let's start with Cull the Weak. You may recall that this skill was introduced as a response to the negative feedback on the parry mechanic. Much needed, I would say. Although, if you'd have told me this would be the new best way to acquire frenzy charges based on how it was advertised here, I'd say you are full of it, because I played Monk last time around. I tried to use Killing Palm, which is a level 1 ability, to get power charges. Terrible stipulations. The enemy had to be within call range, and you had to manually target that enemy, and you had to have enough time to actually execute the attack. Doesn't really work outside of early Act 1, at least if you're trying to move fast. And as you can see, reading through here, that's basically what it is advertised to be. But in the end, that's evidently not what it is. At least with one of the latest updates, they made it way more lenient, moved all the stipulations all upside, no downside now. So how good is this? I mean, it says right there, dash to an enemy, run through them, culling enemies if their life is low enough. If this attack kills at least one enemy, grants you frenzy charge, chance to gain an additional one, qualityed up. AoE, it kills multiple targets, can only give you 1 frenzy charge per attack. Notice I have turned off cast on crit, no sniper's mark, no charge infusion, no combat frenzy. The only frenzy charges I'm getting are right here. Look at how easy that is. I'm dashing from off screen practically. Can you believe this? Look at this. From full life, doesn't matter. It's, again, all upside, no downside. Look how easy that is. In maps, in Delhi, it doesn't matter. Like, this works anywhere. And it especially works if you already got twisters floating around, driving everything's health down to almost 0 anyway. So dare I say, Cull the Weak is a superior way to acquire frenzy charges than anything else we can currently do in the game, including cast on crit with Sniper's Mark, hard casting Sniper's Mark, or freezing, pinning, electrocuting. Even if you have all that with Combat Frenzy, the internal cooldown is pretty rough. At least in maps, not counting bosses, single target, but in maps, nothing can possibly grant you frenzy charges more readily available with higher accessibility than Cull the Weak. So what do I have linked here? There's many different things you could do, but it turns out this is not just for frenzy charges. You can actually kill things, and this creates a situation where I want to do a lot of damage, even if the monster's in full life, half life, low life. I'm running close combat, obvious. I'm running pursuit. These are supports I wouldn't normally even use on a twister build. I mean, concentrated effect, wasn't using that either. Execute, definitely wasn't using that. And then soul drain is a nice convenient way to get a little bit of mana back, and this does appear to work now. It didn't used to, but it works now, even if the enemy you kill wasn't technically in cull range when it worked. I'm not 100% sure on that one for this sake of this video right now, but I'm pretty sure all bets are off on this stuff. So you don't have to use these supports. You could do knockback, and you could do knockback. You could do pin to help with combat frenzy, doubling up the frenzy charges. You could do a wide variety of other. You could do freeze. You could do cold infusion. You could, I mean, who knows? Just there's so many different possibilities. But I think this is a great opportunity to just do a very high damage way to finish off monsters that you already have twisters going around and doing this and that and whatever. Now let's move on and talk a little bit more about speed. We are now doing record-breaking speed here in the hideout, out of combat. 0.16 second Whirling Slash. That is with Charge Infusion not active, with the 12% more skill speed multiplier. Again, that does not count for movement speed, just for attack speed and skill speed. And what this produces, if we scroll up here for Whirling Slash, you will see my accuracy in the hideout is 44,774. This in conjunction with the Amazons. First of all, terrific synergies here with Penetrate as the accuracy roll on the weapon, as well as just critical strike in general, just totally capping that out. But working off of Falcon Dive, 1% increased attack speed per 250 accuracy rating. Bear in mind, my gear is pretty good. I have great accuracy on the weapon, gloves, helmet, now amulet. Ring is pretty good, but still sporting Call of the Brotherhood. I'm having a very hard time justifying getting rid of this. A lot of terrific synergies going on here with Cold. But at any rate, also getting huge synergies from Headhunter. You may have noticed in that run that Headhunter definitely scales attack speed, skill speed, accuracy better than it does just movement speed. And also, you don't need to run Ingenuity, because you don't need flat damage rolls on the ring to help make up for a lack of flat damage on the weapon if you're going for a weapon that has very high local speed roll and flat damage roll accuracy, and then through Penetrate, notable, giving you a whole bunch of extra flat damage. Very nice way to scale the build, and this is what a lot of people mean when they say Amazon is much friendlier towards early level gearing, but it also has good implications at the late game too, mainly because I can totally justify wearing Headhunter over any other belt. So as you're able to see, there's still a little bit room left to grow, but at any rate, if I take 44,774 accuracy divided by 250, that's how much increased attack speed I'm getting on this build right now. And the answer is 179. 179% increased attack speed is coming on the way. Just this one notable right here. This is pushing the bounds of what the best of attribute stacking had to offer last time around. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about attribute stacking, comparing it, because it definitely got neutered pretty hard. And so we'll look at some of the numbers so you can kind of get a sense of if that route is worthy of pursuing, or potentially accuracy plus attribute stacking at the same time, which I think is going to be a little bit difficult to do. But yeah, you probably know this already. The competing notable for Falcon Dive is Falcon Technique. 1% increased attack speed per 25 dex. I think it was per 15 dex earlier, last time around. And then Hand of Wisdom in Action is also another key player here. So how does the math check out here? How much attributes, how much dexterity would you need to keep up with Falcon Dive in general? Let's assume generously that I would normally take Falcon Dive either way, and that I'd have like a 8,000 accuracy. That's a pretty comfortable number to hit most of the time at ranged attacks. That would still put me at around 147% increased attack speed shy of what I'm currently getting. And so in terms of the scalability of Falcon Technique, if we do the math on that, all we really have to do is take 179 minus 36, which is 147% increased attack speed missing. Take that times 25, and that's how much dex I need. The answer is 3,675 dexterity. So right off the bat, I mean, you know, I mean, even if you're a total newbie and you don't know much about the game, you probably know that's an absolutely impossible feat. You literally cannot get that much dexterity in this game. I don't even think you can get half of that much anymore in the game currently as it stands. But let's also factor in Hand of Wisdom in Action, because that would grant us a little bit of additional attack speed, would it not? So to figure out the math on this one, we'll take 179 minus 36 because that is going to be the difference for 8,000 accuracy with Falcon Dive. You would kind of naturally have. But hey, then we have to add another 16, a different 16. Why is that? Well, that's because if you're min-maxing, you're going to have a 16% increase attack speed roll on your gloves, and you can't do that if you're wearing Hand of Wisdom in action. So now a difference of 159% increased attack speed. 9% attack speed per 100 dex, so we'll take that number divided by 9, and then we'll take it times 100, and that puts me at around 1,766 dexterity needed to compete with accuracy. So them's the numbers, as they say, and you can basically see that's just not going to work. That's not viable. It'd be way too hard. You'd have to go way too all in. You would get some extra evasion by stacking dex. There is that, but you would, I suppose, lose some on hit ability, and you'd lose a ton of crit and potentially damage if you weren't scaling accuracy on an Amazon. Which brings us to the next topic, perhaps the elephant in the room. What about Deadeye? Deadeye's faster, isn't it? Alright, so right before we swap to Deadeye, let's just take a note. We got an attack rate for Whirling Slash of 6.81. That's in combat with Charge and Fusion up. We have Twister's crit chance at 86.9%. We got 822 DPS, I suppose. And let's go ahead and make this swap because, of course, Deadeye is technically faster as it has an extra ascendancy point devoted entirely to speed. So we're going to switch it over to Ranger, and we're going to go Deadeye, and we're going to get Tailwind, or Gathering Winds, and we're going to do those points, of course, and then we'll go in here and we'll verify that we got 10 stacks of Tailwind to give it the max. And you'll see right off the bat that Whirling Slash's attack rate has gone up a little bit. Just a smidge. The problem here is that Gathering Winds is not action speed like it is in PoE1. It's not its own separate multiplier. It's just, I believe, 20%, up to 20% increased skill speed, which is not terrible. But honestly, for the power, full-blown power of an Ascendancy, it ain't that amazing, okay? I mean, so these points over here are way more impactful than that, I would say. In fact, if I went Deadeye, I probably wouldn't even do that. I'd probably just go endless munitions. Even for Twister, it would be an extra projectile. That would be at least like 20% more damage, I think, on both of these, and then this would be even more than that. So honestly, I don't even think I could justify doing Tailwind because it's just not enough. Now, the big problem here is that a crit chance on Twister went from like close to 90% to 30%. Utterly annihilated our crit chance. So why is that? Well, that's because of the Amazon having two extraordinarily strong points. Now, in my case, obviously I wouldn't run an accuracy prefix on a flying spear if I were to run this on Deadeye. There's not much point in doing that. And all this accuracy stacking, while nice for Falcon Dive, obviously it's still proving to be an extreme amount of speed. You can see the difference in speed when I take that or not. Still trying to accuracy stack just for the sake of skill speed is not going to justify using this weapon. So what we would have to do, we'd have to run a Tangle Tongue, and this is what everybody's doing. You know, let's just go ahead and populate like a perfect one here, and this is, I've already kind of done this before in a previous video, I think. But I'll go ahead and populate it up here again, just so we can kind of see what it's doing. And if we sub this in, we'll see the crit chances. Wow, it's all back. I think it's like right there, right close to cap. Maybe a little bit over cap. Might be able to pull a few points out there perhaps. But attack rate, oh my god, what just happened to the attack rate? Even for Whirling Slash got butchered pretty hard there. About 20% less attack speed. And so, yeah, you can see the crit chance is almost capped because it's not quite capped for Whirling Slash. And so my damage would be at least, let's just say it's double that, okay? Double that because the crit's fork, so we're not looking at the damage too much. The problem is I now have no flat damage, and so what I would have to do is I would probably have to sacrifice accuracy as prefixes on the rings and the gloves, because now I'm stipulated to get flat damage, and I'd probably have to sacrifice Headhunter for an Ingenuity, because in order to scale this weapon properly, you need to get flat damage rolls everywhere you possibly can. Now, you could mix and match, and maybe on an absolute best min-max character, you would have accuracy and flat damage rolls, but then are you going to have life? No, you're probably going to have to, you know, sacrifice a bunch of stuff down here, crit and accuracy, and go all the way up here to go an energy shield route, and then you're making the build just different on so many different fronts. And I'm not going to go way into the weeds here, but I just wanted to show you that while the Deadeye technically is faster, it's not even worth taking Gathering Winds. I mean, it's just 20% increased skill speed. And so I think this is kind of a dead option. Deadeye would be terrific for Twisters, for bossing, okay? It's going to be a similar power threshold that Serpent builds have, is in more than doubling your damage. It's just extreme amount of effectiveness. Twisters get huge bonus power through Barrage, and yeah, just using all the frenzy charges. It's wild how strong they are with Barrage. So you would see the full force of that going Deadeye, but unfortunately I don't have a Deadeye, and I'm not willing to at this time level a Deadeye just to showcase what I can do on bossing, but I'm sure it would utterly annihilate Pinnacle content. I mean, the Amazon version already annihilates Pinnacle content. It takes a few seconds to kill a Pinnacle boss, but it's obviously S tier at Simulacrum. I just came out with a previous video showcasing what it can do there. So this is where it leaves us, guys. In conclusion, Cull the Weak is just sealing the deal in terms of speed, farming efficiency. Scaling attack speed now scales that skill's ability to attack and kill and get frenzy charges faster, move and teleport faster. That paired with Whirling Slash just gives you a double whammy. 1-2 punch, just utterly destroying the competition. Anything you can do, especially movement speed stat related, and the scaling on the Amazon with accuracy is just such a terrific synergy with Whirling Slash into Twisters and getting all of that extra damage. Getting the flat damage on the weapon for free, meaning it frees up the convenience of gearing your jewelry slots and gloves much easier. Headhunter becomes a way more viable option. More room on the passive skill tree to scale accuracy. It's more sensible. Nearby notables, much easier than scaling attributes. Attributes not really going to work this time around. They've neutered it too hard. Hand of Wisdom in action would be a nice pairing with Tangle Tongue. I didn't mention that. But it's just simply not going to be enough. And the Deadeye is a great option for bossing. But if you're wanting to do mapping, if you want to focus on speed and farming, this is the way you're going to do it. It's much easier to gear, and it's still going to perform. It's going to outperform the Deadeye at the top end for sure in terms of accuracy, stacking, speed in the very end. Because you're either going to sacrifice some speed or you're going to sacrifice some power, one or the other. Well, guys, that's going to do it for the video. I hope you got a lot out of this. Really, I look forward to seeing the comments on this. I hope you guys are going to pursue this build. Every single time I play this game, I'm always trying to hit that mark of bringing you guys something that's really cool, something super efficient and makes sense, whether you're a min-maxer or you're just wanting to have some fun. And on rare occasion, truly hit that bullseye right on the head. This is one of those times. And so it's going to be a lot of fun, me pursuing this build even further. And you guys along for the ride, come by, check out what we're doing on Twitch. There's going to be a lot of farming videos. I've just really started getting into the thick of it with magic finding. And so I just had some runs. I did 24 maps, dropped 5 Divine Orbs, 2 Perfect Jewelers. So I know there's certainly still some potential in magic finding. I think the game's in a perfectly suitable state. Maybe not the best state imaginable, but I'm able to do a lot. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next video.